Smash Mouth Sports. I'm your host, as always, Preston Bailey. With me in his own studio, not in my studio, from a covert location in New England. I'm in a covert location in downtown Tampa, and I'm not going to bring up the terrible government parking down here. I'm not going to get into that, nor am I going to get into the fact that a homeless guy wanted to get into a bare knuckle fight over $2. So having said that, let's roll up our sleeves. And I'll tell you who needs to get into a bare knuckle fight is the New England Patriots. We got to cover this game. Thursday night, got these stats right here. They lost to the Rams, the LA Rams, 24-3, an abysmal performance. And Cam's going to give his hot take in just a minute, but I'm not surprised at all. I know they won 45-0 the week before against the Chargers, and everybody in New England land was so excited, ready to pop bottles, ready to ride Cam Newton into the playoffs to sneak in at 8-8. Cam, give me your thoughts on that before I do a deeper dive into this pathetic Thursday night game.
No, the Patriots are done. The Patriots are absolutely done. I mean, I'll say it before, I'll say it again. If
Wait a
Bill
minute,
Belichick...
does Greg Bedard and all of your guys in New England, do they know this? Because your New England guys on the Sports Hub are telling me they're going.
Well, when they said that, there was still a chance they won 10 games. There's no chance for that anymore. They've now officially lost 7 games. But it's over. I mean, if Bill Belichick wasn't the Patriots head coach, this might be the worst team in the league. Because their roster is abysmal. And they have no quarterback, they have no pass catchers, and they have a below-average defense. It's just an abysmal team that's going to win somewhere between 7 and 9 games because Bill Belichick's their coach, and for no other reason.
Let me help you out there. They're not going to win 9 games. And even in your negativity, there's still too much positivity, even in your negativity. It's in the water in New England. It's in the water. It's in the bread. It's in the donuts. It's in the bagels. It's in the pizza. You've got this blind faith. Look, Bill Belichick is the GOAT. He's one of the greatest coaches of all time. He's the greatest coach of all time. This is nothing against Bill Belichick. But with all due respect, they don't have the worst team in the league. They're 6-7. Yes. Is it possible that if another coach was on this team, they'd probably have 3 or 4 wins? Yes, they'd probably have 3 or 4 wins. But they're not worse than the Jets. They're not worse than the Bengals or the Jaguars. They've got more talent. They've got more structure than those guys. Bill Belichick's done actually a great job getting into 6-7. Bill Belichick, the coach, has done a great job getting them to 6-7. But I've said this all year long. It's not just Bill Belichick, the coach. That's the problem. It's Bill Belichick, the general manager. Bill
100%.
Belichick, the general manager, put this team together.
Yes.
Bill Belichick, the general manager, is the reason they have salary cap problems, the reason they don't have DK Metcalf, the reason they don't have Nick Chubb, the reason they don't have
a quarterback.
and tons of other guys, the reason they don't have a middle-of-the-road or better quarterback like a Jimmy G or Kirk Cousins or whatever name you want to throw out there. They've got the best they could out of Cam Newton, but it's simply not good enough. It's not good enough. And I want to go over some of these stats here. Now, here's what you're thinking. By the way, I keep hearing about the Patriots have this great offensive line, Cam, and I'm going to go that in a minute. And I understand the Rams are an all-world team with an all-world defense. The Rams sacked this vaunted Patriots offensive line 6 times. 6 sacks is putrid. 4 were on Cam Newton. 2 were on Jarrett Stidham. I've got the stats right here. Here we go. The now 6-7 Patriots, 9 for 16 for 119 yards passing, no touchdowns, another interception, sacked 4 times for 21 yards, 5 for 7 for 27 yards. And I saw Greg Bedard's article the other day about Jarrett Stidham. Put in Jarrett. I don't know what it is in the New England water with you guys and Jarrett Stidham. He sucks. I'm going to say this as nice and as diplomatic and as complimentary as I can say it. Cut Jarrett Stidham twice. Cut him today and cut him tomorrow, just so that he doesn't come back and burn up his check. So what are your thoughts on that, Cam?
No, I mean, but I understand why people are saying that. It's because
they're drunk in the New England water and the New England beer. There are too many Samuel Adams. Jarrett Stidham sucks.
I agree. And no, I agree. The only reason they're saying that is because he's young. And they want to see if there is any potential there. Because Cam Newton is washed up. Cam Newton doesn't have it anymore, and he's not going to be here next year, I hope. So that's the only reason people would say that, is to see if there's any glimmer of hope there. I don't think there is, but that's the only reason people would say, let's put Stidham in, to see if there's any glimmer of hope there. I mean, they're going to bring him back for training camp next year. I don't know if he makes it through, but they're going to give him one more training camp, Jared Stidham. But
why? Why? He sucks.
I'm in no rush. I mean, I wouldn't lose any sleep if they cut him. I mean, the Patriots pumped from the minute Tom Brady's contract dried with the Buccaneers until when they signed Cam Newton. The Patriots pumped Jared Stidham up like the next big thing, their next quarterback. He's the future of the franchise.
Maybe in the unrealistic New England media, but nobody outside of New England was in love with Jared Stidham. I remember we having a very deep argument, conversation, whatever word, heated debate in the offseason. You were putting memes and GIFs and Facebooks and Twitter likes of Jared Stidham on a Game of Thrones king's throne with a huge golden goblet. I said, guys, you're insane. I said, number one, he's a fourth-round game manager on a team in Auburn that did not throw the ball. So he's a game manager who wasn't that accurate, wasn't that talented on an all-run team in the SEC. They never passed.
Correct.
They literally would throw for 85 yards a game. So this fantasy that he was going to somehow be this great guy is not realistic at all. This guy is not an NFL starting caliber. He's not even a backup caliber. And so here's what I wanted to get into. So Jared Goff, by the way, I don't have his final stats here. I had it on this other sheet. I think I dropped it again into a scuffle outside of the downtown location here. But if you could bring up Jared Goff's stats, Jared Goff barely threw for 140, 150 yards. Well, the stats I do have while you're bringing that up is 29 carries for 171 yards with Cam Akers. Cam Akers was phenomenal. The Rams have adjusted. And here's what I want to get into while you're bringing that up here. So I've got the breakdown. The Patriots looked horrific in that game, but there was one point in that game where they looked moderate. They were down 10-0. Okay, the Rams were up 10-0. The Patriots are down 10-0. The Patriots get a quick interception, and you're thinking, okay, here we go. They're back in this game. They got a turnover. They can manage the game. They can make it close, limp out of this first half, and then what happens on the very next play? Cam Newton throws an interception touchdown the other way. It's game over. You can say,
Correct.
we played to the death. We played fight to the battle, 4 quarters. It's 17-0. The game, for all realistic purposes, is over, and it was over. And at no point in that game was it competitive. It was 24-3. It could have been 45-3. That just shows you, A, how bad the Chargers are. And everybody was getting – it was a false sense of bravado. It was a false sense of security with that 45-0. It was all kick returns, block punts. It was more an ineptitude of the Chargers than it was the Patriots being this almighty team. So do you have those stats for us?
Yes. Jared Goff was 16 of 25 for 137 yards, 2 total touchdowns, and 1 interception, a QBR of 47.
Right. So 137 yards. That's what I thought. I thought it was around, I can't remember if it was 137 or 139, less than 140 yards passing. Okay. And they dominated this game. So I'm banging on this here because I keep hearing from the Patriots fans how it's what we have at Belichick, and we're going to, when they were 6-7, we're going to run the table. We're going to be 10-6 and 7, or we're going to back it. No, it's over. Okay. It's totally over. Leonard Floyd got a half of a sack. Aaron Donald got a sack and a half. And Michael Brockers, who is one of the more underrated D linemen in the league, 6'5", 305 pounds, can play inside, outside, got 2 sacks as well. And you never hear his name. It's always Aaron Donald. Michael Brockers played absolutely phenomenal as well. Here are the final 3 games. By the way, like and subscribe to this channel. We appreciate you tuning in. Feel free to hit me up at Smash TV Radio. But definitely, Rome is burning. The Patriots are burning. It doesn't look good. But next week, their last 3 games are at Miami, versus the Bills at home, and the Jets. I think best case scenario, they win 1 game. One game is the best case. And there's a part of me that thinks if they lose those 2, if they lose to Miami, and I think they will, and if they lose to the Bills, I think they do, they might mail it in the last game. The Jets are going to try to lose that last game. No matter what, the Jets are going to try to lose that game to have the number 1 pick. But if somehow the Jaguars win that second game, I could see that. I could see the Patriots screwing it up in the last game of the season. What are your thoughts on that before we wrap this up?
No, I agree. I mean, the Patriots it's a long way to go. Long way to go, for sure.
And before we like and subscribe, but before we wrap this up, I want to get to this with the drafting. I said this before the season. I'm going to continue to say this. Tom Brady is not coming through this building for the Patriots. Okay, Tom Brady, and you can argue. I've heard many people, in the beginning it was more defense, in the middle it was high powered, and then towards the end it was more Tom Brady in a balance. At the end of the day, if you were not in the New England bubble, if you were to look at this objectively, they do not have any significant young stars and playmakers on either side of the ball to build around. Not one.
Correct.
I mean, to me, after watching that game, the only thing of promise is their kick returner, punt returner. This guy looks like he's got some speed. I don't know why he doesn't play wide receiver that much. I don't know why they only use him on special teams. He's like the only guy that's got any juice. The receivers are terrible. Their tight ends are terrible. Damian Harris looks pretty good, but even he's been banged up, and I don't think he's not an all-around
back. He's a running back at the end of the day.
Right. He's a running back at the end of the day. So you don't have – I'm just saying, honestly, I think things are going to get worse before they get better. So, Cam, what are your thoughts before we end this video on that?
Real quickly on this past game, I got to give credit to Sean McVay because Sean McVay got pantsed by Bill Belichick in Super Bowl 53, and he learned from that game, and he had a great game plan Thursday night. But overall, with the Patriots, it's just like I just said, it's going to be a long road. I mean, they got to see what they're going to do at quarterback this offseason, whether they're going back into the draft or they're signing a veteran. And even if no matter what they do at quarterback, they have a lot of holes on the roster to fill. So it's going to take a while. I don't even know if they've hit bottom yet.
They have not hit bottom. This was. Let me tell you what this season was. This season was a 30-0 boxer that just suffered his first knockout. That's what this season was. This season was a 6-time champion, if you will, 6-time champion who'd never lost a heavyweight boxing match. That's Mike Tyson in his prime. This season is like it's your first knockout. This is your first time being knocked out. There will be many more knockouts because what I've said to you before, no disrespect to the city of New England, free agents are not lining up to go there. They're not without Tom Brady. Okay, the days of getting discounts are gone. That's the key. Tom Brady was worth $30 or $40 million a year. He was taking less to pump up to build a strong team. Guys don't do that anymore. Russell Wilson's one of the highest paid guys. Patrick Mahomes is getting close to $45, $50 million a year. Guys do not do that the way they used to do with Tom Brady. Tom Brady wanted to win more than anything. So the days of scooping up guys on the cheap, I'm sorry, those days are gone. Even before this year, they had to overpay Stephon Gilmore another $5 million just to make him happy, just so he'd play out his contract. And he still had some grumblings this year. So I'm just saying, for the future, Rome is burning. I hope you stay committed to your team because it is not going to be a glorious future. So like and subscribe. We appreciate the love. Thanks again.